I will call the meeting to order at 6:30. The meeting of the North St. Paul Planning Commission on June 6th, 6:30 PM. Chris, will you do roll call, please?
Chair Blees,
Here.
Vice Chair Wise,
Here.
Commissioner Alvarez is absent today. Commissioner Kane Burback is absent today. Commissioner Gadboy,
Here.
Commissioner Muick,
Present.
Commissioner Rothy,
Here.
and for staff and liaisons present today are City Council Liaison Nordby, Community Development Director Grams, and Planning Commission Secretary Cherney.
Excellent, thank you. First item off is adopting the agenda. I would take a motion to adopt the agenda unless there are changes.
I'll move to adopt the agenda from.
For today.
Oh, sorry.
Today's agenda.
Sorry. Yes, I will move to adopt today's agenda. I thought we were
Today's
talking
agenda.
about meeting minutes.
And a second?
I'll second.
It's a motion from Commissioner Weiss, second from Commissioner Rothy. All in favor, say aye.
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 That's unanimous. And then approval of meeting minutes from May 2nd. I would entertain a motion for approval of the meeting minutes.
I move we so approve.
Motion from Commissioner Muick, second.
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Rothy. Any discussion? I don't think I saw anything in there that. No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. And next on the agenda will be meeting open to the public. So if there's anyone from the public that would like to speak regarding something not on this agenda, you are welcome to do so at this time. Please state your name and address and try and limit it to 3 minutes. Thank you.
It's hard to do.
I know.
A member of the public, John Schmall, 2750 Chisholm Avenue. The experience of a 49-year resident of North St. Paul and dealing with not having a survey for a fence started 1999. I moved here in 1975 with a person, third owner next on my east side, moving in and proceeded to plant their raspberries on my property. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, what you do is you pay for a survey. And so that's why there's only 2 pins on all of Chisholm, my survey. Anyway, that then later, third person into the house on the other side, west side of me, moves in, and just as a little background, they had to, on the 9-foot side of my house, 6-foot side is the prior house, they had to add extra flowage for the sewer because the 12-inch pipe wasn't handling 2 blocks worth of water coming through a 12-inch pipe. Anyway, the people who moved in had 2 monster dogs, and nice people, no doubt. No, but within the first week, up goes the fence. And I look at it, and I go, there's a problem here. And so I take out my steel rule, and I run the distance between my foundation and the other house's foundation, which is 13 and a half feet, 1.5 feet short. So somebody's missing 1.5 feet of property. At that time, in goes the fence. Now what do I do? Well, I'm a nice guy. I'm really a nice guy. So a little later on, city is out scoping the sewers. And so I walk over and say, what's going on? Well, we're scoping the sewers, but come on in, take a look at this. So the TV camera's up there, and I go up there, and scope goes down, bonk, right into the fence posts. Hit those sewer pipes right in the middle, blocked them. So call Dudek, says, what are we going to do about this? We need to have proper flowage. So he gets involved, and all of a sudden there is a 15-foot deep trench in between the two houses, and in goes a 32-inch pipe, but it's down 15 feet, so we don't have to worry about fence posts. Neighbor had to move the fence posts because they had to go down. There's only 13 and a half feet, and you got this big track hole in between there, digging 15 feet down. But this is my opportunity, because I called the survey company and I said, hey, come on back out here. I need to have the pins put back in because they're going to disappear. And I got the city to agree to pay, which they did. So that got me out of that situation because the pins are now in the right spot, and the neighbor lost 1.5 feet of, because it was, my pins actually were 6 feet. We all got, when we bought the houses, this little plot that said, this is the number of feet on each side, and here's where your house is located. Well, it was a bunch of BS is what it was. But anyway, I got 6 feet because the pins showed that I was the one who had 6 feet and the neighbor didn't. So that's the kind of thing that happens. And I'm just one person as to if you don't know where your property line is. But the last item is on the east side, neighbor is having the driveway replaced. So I got to do a locate. Got all the flags are out. Little blue ones, little red ones, little this yellow ones, and all of that. And I look at it for the first time in between the two 6-foot. There's two 6-foot together. Stupid. Never put two 6-foots together because that's a problem. It should be 6 and 9, 6 and 9. But anyway, I look at it. The electric that's buried comes out of my neighbor's house, comes over to my property, meets up with mine on my property, and runs on my property all the way out to the street. So I show up here at an open to the public. And I tell the story, and the city manager, late of being director of the electric utility, says quickly, you know where your pins are? And I said, yeah, I know where my pins are because I had the pins put in. And by the way, WSB had verified where the pins were when they did the prior work for the CIP, which never happened and probably won't happen in my lifetime. But that's, I just came back and I said, do you know where my pins are? And at that time, the mayor, Furlong at that time, says, you're done. And that's where I am. So in order to get something done on getting that electrical line moved, I'm going to have to get an attorney. And I'm going to have to sue and pay for the attorney to do something about it. But that's no skin off the nose of the city. They got an attorney on retainer. What the hell? They don't care. So that's the experience of one individual when it comes to having no survey and doing things that involve a survey, especially since you have the little item that says if you want to attach your fence to another person's fence, you got to get an agreement. So at least the least you have to have in your, I don't know what happened to projected or the proposed fence, whatever, rules, code, whatever. But there should be something in there that would prevent this. I know there's nobody in North St. Paul that had to deal with what I have to deal, and that I am at this point in time have to figure out, do I want to pay to get this done? And all of this stuff that happened would never have happened if there had been surveys.
That was a very good story, John. Thank you. With that, I assume there's no one else from the public here. So we will, and we have no public hearings tonight.
Is there anything online?
Is there anybody online? I don't think anybody's online.
We are no longer doing Zoom meetings.
We are no longer doing Zoom meetings.
Oh, when did that start?
It actually doesn't say on the agenda that we're doing a Zoom meeting, so I appreciate that. That's,
Was that,
Okay.
were we only doing that because of COVID?
yeah.
Yeah, I believe the intent was to keep it during the coronavirus pandemic, and it wasn't getting much use.
Mhm.
So we
Was it a
decided
cost to us to do?
I believe so.
Okay. I just don't like the idea of us not making the meetings as publicly accessible as possible, but if there is a cost and it's not being used.
Yeah, I think we haven't seen notable numbers of people on there
Yeah.
for many, many months, probably at least a year,
Yeah.
maybe one or two people here and there,
And they're still recorded, right? And people can.
and they're broadcast.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
They're broadcast and live streamed on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I have no objection to us being financially, but it's just that if it wasn't costing us, I would respectfully ask that it be, but since it's costing us and we're recording the meeting, then never mind.
Okay. With that, we will move on to commission business, which is discussion and introductions.
Well, good evening, everyone, Planning Commission members. My name is Riley Grams. I am the new Community Development Director here in the city. This is my 4th day on the job. So it's been a whirlwind of learning where things are and getting the computer systems all up to speed, and it's been really great so far. Originally born in White Bear Lake, currently live in Roseville, so I'm sort of a East Sider, if you will, East Side Metro kid myself. So this seemed like a really, really good natural fit for me here in this community. For the past 12 years, I worked for the city of Osseo. Again, small community, historic community. It's got that historic downtown, much like North St. Paul here. So it was really a natural fit for me. Started there as actually a planning intern way back when, 12 years ago, and then was the city planner, community development director, assistant city administrator, and then eventually the city administrator, and I had that job for the past 9 years. A lot of managerial experience, a lot of, obviously, a really good planning background. Graduated from the University of Minnesota with a degree in urban studies, essentially city planning. And then I have my master's degree from Hamlin in Masters of Public Administration. So I come with a lot of experience and some pretty darn good education, and so I'm really excited to be here and serve this community.
Awesome.
Looking forward to
Very
working
good.
with you all.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
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 That's great. That's a great
That's
background.
a really good background, quick elevator speech there. You
Practice
prepped that. You prepped that.
Yes,
That was good.
I did.
Because you just answered about 4 of my questions.
There you go.
Makes me feel a little better about them not interviewing me.
Yeah.
So you don't know us.
No?
So I have been on the planning commission for 4 years, I think. I can't remember.
It's longer than that.
I was on the Design
during COVID.
Historic Review Commission before that, and that started in '07, I think. So, and I've been chair for, I don't know, since Elaine left. So that would have been January of 20 22.
Okay.
January of 23, sorry, January of 23. That's when I started
A
as
year and a half
chair.
then. Okay.
Yeah, because the deal was, the unspoken deal was that Elaine wanted to be done, and so. But I am an architect by profession.
Fun story, I, in undergrad, originally started as an architecture major. Did 2 years, decided, this isn't my cup of tea, but natural progression, go into more of a
Yeah.
city planning.
Yeah, and you were at the University of Minnesota, which is, it's the same general department, if you
Yeah,
will,
it is.
same general area.
So you saw the light.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it out
Good for
loud,
you.
but, yeah.
Good choice.
That's fine.
Hey, I've got a lot of these gray hairs from interacting with architects during grad school.
I'm guessing this is a little bit closer than Osseo on a daily basis.
It is, it's about 11 minutes door to door.
Nice.
I'm right by Target in Roseville, so it's just hop on 36 and here I
Yeah.
am. So it's great.
Good for you.
Good for I got 2 young kids, a 5-year-old who's graduating kindergarten this evening. Today was her
Ooh.
last day, so congratulations, Luetta.
Mm,
And I got a 3-year-old son named Walter, too.
good.
Very cool.
Others?
Oh, I got one more thing. My wife.
Yeah.
My wife is the the planning director for Washington County. So, we keep it all in the family here in my household, so we got a lot of good planning background.
Awesome.
She was the Gold Line project manager for
Wow.
the county as well for
Wow,
the past
okay.
couple of years, so.
Awesome. That's great.
So now you have to pick up and move over into this area so that you're in between both jobs.
Yeah, she could basically drop me off on her way to, office, so. But, thank you.
That's convenient.
My name's Andrew Wise. I been on the planning commission for, I think I've been on for 4 years, so you must be 5 at least.
Yeah, probably 5.
And I have a 5-year-old son and a 4-year-old son. 5-year-old son's not in kindergarten yet; he'll be in next year. I'm an architect as well too. That's my background, and I currently work for a construction company and still do some architecture-related stuff with their development team. But I also work for, my main job is with their research and development portion of the company. But I do end up reading zoning code almost every day around the country, and so I get a lot of it.
Yep.
But really happy to have you here, and excited to work with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Who else wants to speak up for introductions?
Who else is an architect?
No other architects here. That's good. Boy, that'd be a nasty group.
I'm Cameron Muick, and I am also a planner. I work with MnDOT at this point in their development review area. So anything that goes on within a quarter mile or less to a MnDOT roadway, I usually have my thumbprint on it somewhere. Either I've done it or I've instructed the people that are doing it how to do it. My planning background goes back to the mid-'90s when I started working as a planner for Dallas Area Rapid Transit. I've had an extensive background in transportation, Amtrak, Greyhound, Virginia Railway Express, a number of other occupations. The only thing, my typical elevator speech is, if it doesn't float, I have probably worked for it. And I've been on the planning commission now for 2 years, I think,
And change, maybe?
and change, I think, a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah. I'm sure some of them feel like I've been on it a lot longer, so, and welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I guess I'll go. I'm Liz Gadboy. I've been on the Planning Commission since January, so not very long. I'm new. I am not an architect. I work for a door and hardware distributor, and I read contracts all day. Like, that's all I do. It's as boring as it sounds. But my skill is looking at details and finding mistakes and all of that. I grew up in Matamidi, so White Bear,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I grew up, does it help that I grew up really close to Matamidi?
Yeah, yes.
I had some friends from Matamidi.
We've all had friends from Montemita.
Yeah, probably.
So Jim Rothy, I guess I've been on crew for, I don't know, a little over a year and a half or something.
Something like that.
Something like that. So I work in IT. I work for Baxter Healthcare. I see a lot of moving parts as far as requirements and so forth, but if I go back 20 years where I got my education in HVAC and working on residential, commercial, and power plants, there's not a whole lot of those pieces that I haven't seen and/or worked on, and I've dealt with from a project management perspective. So when you deal with communities, there's a lot of moving parts, not a whole lot different than what we deal with from a planning perspective. So glad you're here, and welcome to the party.
Thank you.
Indeed. And there's two folks missing tonight. but
Yep.
You'll get a chance to meet
I'll
them.
get a chance. Yep, absolutely.
So, do you have an agenda in your mind for tonight?
I
To
don't.
talk about things, or
No, I think Chris, we
Chris,
had
do you want
goal
to, you want to look at what kind of you know about plans?
Yeah, so we do not have any official city business, so it was a little bit up in the air last week if we were going to meet or not, but we figured it would be an appropriate time to do introductions and maybe for the commission to speak about recent projects that they were working on. I know that the fence ordinance was a big one that we were working on. We did have some official city business last meeting with the 17th and Delaware project as well. And looking ahead, our next meeting is in August. There's the potential for a special meeting in July if the commission believes that they want to work on a specific section of the ordinance or whatever project they want. Staff is just looking for direction at this point. With Brandy gone and with Riley coming in, we're looking for some direction here.
I think it would be good to give Riley some time to get acclimated, figure things out to some degree. I don't think there was any urgent items. We had started working on, I don't know if I would say rewrite, but to some degree rewrite of ordinance sections. And your predecessor had kind of targeted pieces of it
Okay.
to address pieces of it at a time. Thus, the reason that the fence component became a thing that we worked on. We had, a while back, we had done signage. I know that there was an intent to work on PUD. I think was an intent to work on a lot of sections of the zoning because it's just old. It hasn't been touched for a long time, and there's probably a lot of things that can be fixed. Not the least of which is even the fence ordinance pieces that we already looked at. You know, you can keep working on this stuff and rethinking it until you die, and it still won't be perfect. So it's a matter of, I think the challenge that we found is, and we've actually addressed this and talked about it in these meetings, what do we include in the ordinance? If you're not going to enforce it, don't put it in there. So we have tended to pull stuff out when we say, why do we have to enforce this? Why do we think we have to enforce it? Is there a safety concern? Is there a aesthetic concern? What kind of concern is it that would make us want to enforce a particular paragraph? I go back as far as when we were talking about parking. I think most of you, Andrew, you were here, but I don't know if anybody else was here when we were talking about parking. And there were questions about parking RVs on property, on private residential property, and rules about how that would be allowed or not allowed. There were rules in there about parking on driveways and where you can park on the driveway. And there are so many aspects of those kinds of things where as soon as we put a rule in place, I could go and find some violators that are perfectly legitimate in violating that rule. I mean, walking here, I see people that are parking across the sidewalk.
Yep. That's a common one.
There's nothing you can do about it because of where their house and their garage is. So what do you do about that? Do you enforce the rule? Well, you really can't. It's a non-compliant condition. So it's always that game you're playing, trying to figure out, okay, what do you really want to put in there? And then, once you figure out what you want to put in there, how do you put it in there so it's real easy to use?
Because the format has been less than desirable. When
It's-
you look
Yeah.
at information over time.
One of the things that I appreciated about your predecessors, the formatting and the, sort of the outline format that was being created was much better than some ordinances are just nightmarish to try and read. You can't figure out what's a paragraph and a subparagraph and a sub-subparagraph. You can't figure it out because they're all numbered and not indented and things like that. So just the simplicity of making it readable, I think is a huge thing that we could make better. So,
And simple language as well.
yeah.
Or as simple as possible. Don't let the lawyers clutter it up with a lot of legalese.
Yep.
So anyway, that was the only big project that we had that it was trying to get it to blend with the current comprehensive plan.
Okay. That's good feedback.
So when you feel like you're ready to tackle it, that's the only thing that was on our agenda, I think, that was of note.
I know, we have talked about parking previously, but I think the one aspect of parking that it sort of kept coming up that it would be something we should address was like parking minimums. Because that we didn't really address at all.
True.
And with a lot of development
True.
that's starting, that's a pretty important one. We have, currently, I would say, pretty high minimums that make it tough to build things like that are happening down the street here. And then that tends to push things into PUDs and just gets too complicated. And if we could fix the parking, that would be good. Parking minimums, I mean. This is just, this hasn't ever come up, but it was one thing that jumped in my mind. And I think there was a whole section on ADUs that went in like right before I started, I think. Does that sound true?
On ED,
ADUs, like the
ADUs,
accessory dwelling.
Dwelling units.
yeah, we did talk about that. We did.
I think just revisiting that a little bit, because
Yeah.
I think what we have in now, it at least addresses them, but the size requirement, it's like you can basically have a shed in your backyard, which it's not really doing what I think it wants to be doing, so.
Multiple structures on a property is what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yep.
And look at that with a critical eye.
Yep,
Say, what do we allow, what do we not allow?
yeah. Because
And
as it-
why do we want to regulate it? You know,
Yeah,
in what way do we want to regulate?
yep, yeah.
Yeah, I tend to be a less regulation person, but not that I don't want to see the regulation, but I want to know, why is the regulation there? What is the purpose of it? And then, yeah, let's put it in, and then let's enforce it.
Yeah.
But there needs to be some rationale, not just regulation for regulation's sake, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, getting rather theological here, sorry.
No, that's good, though. Those are the only two things that I was thinking about.
Anything else?
I have nothing else.
Okay,
Yeah, this is
move on?
great information.
Okay. And I trust, Riley, that you will have or do have all information you need about communicating with us.
Yes, I do.
You'll get that from Chris if you don't already have it.
I already got it.
So you can reach out anytime.
And it's both on our North St. Paul email accounts as well as our non-North St. Paul account.
Yeah, I'm trying to take my non-North St. Paul account right out of the picture. I still get stuff. Chris, you're really good about sending information. But I don't even read it there generally, unless I have to. This is my new tool right here.
I do pay attention when I see it. I'm like, okay, I better shift.
Right,
gears.
right, exactly. I see it pop up in the Gmail, and I think, oh, I better go do this. So it's good to see it in both places. All right, that being the case, let's go around and see if, are there any reports of any sort? Let's start with you down there, Council Liaison. Do you have anything that you want to share with us tonight?
Just what I talked about earlier. I personally, I feel I got lucky. I inherited the best commission. I'm biased, but I did.
Thank you.
So it sounds like some of the fencing is coming back, but you guys did absolutely great work. It has nothing to do with what you did. It just sounds like some legal reasons why we're going to get to revisit some of the details. But please don't think it was not quality work. It was awesome.
That's good, thank you.
Any idea when?
I don't
Okay,
have that information at this time.
perfect.
They give us a reason for meeting in July.
That might be the reason. No, it's probably, if it's in legal hands, it won't be July.
Oh, that's true.
November, maybe.
Yeah. I'm just hoping it doesn't come back with 6 more pages of legalese.
Oh, it will.
Well, we'll see. I know that there are issues related to, not issues outstanding, but I know we talked about things like licensing entities and pools and what the fence requirements are. And all that, there's state statutes in place for all that, so
Yeah.
we need to make sure that it's
Oh,
all
yeah,
compliant.
definitely.
And that's probably part of it, too.
I just remember an RFP I wrote early in my career that started at 6 pages, went to legal, and came back as 53.
Let's hope it's not that expensive.
Yes. There was an awful lot of boilerplate in that thing that could have been cut out.
Commissioner Muick, do you have more to share?
No. I share too much as it is.
Okay.
so-
Commissioner Weiss, what about you?
I do not have anything to report, no.
All right. Commissioner Gadboy.
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Rothy.
I have nothing to report other than saying welcome, Riley, and welcome to the team.
Absolutely.
Shall we all take Riley out for a beer after this at Max?
I missed the snowy
Yeah.
reveal, but I did get a chance to walk by it and take a glance and talk to a couple of people. So it looks like there were people that showed up, so that was good, including sponsors of those
That's good.
Okay, good.
sculptures.
When did they get moved out from?
My understanding is pretty quickly.
Yeah,
At least some of them are ready to go.
talking to Ron about, there's a couple that are ready to go, and I know he was making plans
Yeah.
either, maybe not tomorrow, but probably early next week to start shipping those off.
I think they need to create a
I
platform.
mean, he just got the
and-
map tonight to where.
Yeah, they need to
so-
create a platform and.
Yeah, there's a
Anchorage.
couple spots that need to pour a little concrete to make sure that it's on solid ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they like solid concrete? Is that what they are?
No,
I
no, they're,
I guess I
think
didn't
they're
even ask if
composite. They're a
yeah,
composite of
I
some
highly doubt that they're solid.
but I'm sure there's an anchoring mechanism.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would all disappear
Yes,
very
true,
easily.
true.
Yeah.
Get
Where are
rolled
they
down.
being placed?
They're getting placed in a lot of different
Various
places.
businesses.
I heard that
or
one
two in
will be at
parks.
Dorothy Park.
Yeah.
Are they going to stay in those spaces permanently, or is it just temporary and then they're moving, the sponsors are going to take them to wherever they
Don't
want?
know.
I don't know for sure, but I believe the sponsors own them, so they would keep them
Yeah.
on their property unless they donate them.
Yeah, don't.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Good to know. That was the only thing that I had. I missed cleanup day. I was feeling bad about that, but thankfully you took advantage of it last year. I don't know if it rained this year for cleanup day.
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did. How about that, with all
Maybe
the rain
because you
we've been
missed
having?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I missed
don't
it.
know, I've-
I missed it too for the first time in 3 years, so maybe that's why. I
I've
didn't-
watched staff out there getting poured on couple of years in a row. It was crazy. Anyway, with that, I think we are finished with our agenda. I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Commissioner Rothi, second.
A second.
Second from Commissioner Muick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:05.